me Jaya dosha shori Jaya guna deho dase Jaya vegadomi Jaya dosha shori Jaya guna deho dase Jaya vegadomi Jaya dosha shori Jaya guna deho dase Jaya satsanga deho hai amare Toba seche sangera ashe Jaya satsanga deho hai amare Sechi sangera ashe Jaya satsanga deho hai amare Sechi sangera ashe Jaya satsanga deho hai amare Sechi sangera ashe Ekaki amara nahi pai bolo Hari Nam Sankirtane Ekaki amara nahi pai bolo Hari Nam Sankirtane Ekaki amara nahi paya bolo Hari Nam Sankirtane Ekaki amara nahi paya bolo Hari Nam Sankirtane Tumi kripa kori Shudha binduriya Deho Krishna namadhane Tumi kripa kori Shudha binduriya Deho Krishna namadhane Tumi kripa kori Shudha binduriya Deho Krishna namadhane Tumi kripa kori Shraddha bindudiya Deho Krishna namadhane Krishna se tomara Krishna dite paro Tomara shakatiyache 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 Amito Kangala Krishna Krishna boli Daitava pache pache Arjuna Krishna dite parai Tomara shakatiyache Krishna se tomara Krishna dite paro Tomara shakatiyache Krishna se tomara Krishna dite paro Tomara shakatiyache Amito Kangala Krishna Krishna Bole Dai Tava Pache Pache Amito Kangala Krishna Krishna Bole Dai Tava Pache Pache Amito Kangala Krishna Krishna Bole Dai Tava Pache Pache
Amito Kangala Krishna Krishna Bole Dai Tava Pache Pache
Dai Tava Pache Pache Dai Tava Pache Pache O He Vaishnava Sakura Vyasagara Edase Karuna Kori O He Can you turn off the light, please? And the big light, that is. Edase karuna koriri Edase karuna koriri Just past 7:25 p.m. Srila Prabhupada has just left his physical body, so to speak, and entered Samadhi. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Vacharine Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Paschatharvishvatharine Namaste Gauravani Vacharine Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Paschatharine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Gaura Bhaktavinda Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotaya Saraswati A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Tirobhav Mahamahotsava ki Go Premanandi. All glorious to the assembled devotees. All glorious to Sri Guru Rangaranga. If you like to stay for a little while, we'll read something. There are many accounts of these last moments of Srila Prabhupada's manifest presence and the events which took place at that time and shortly after that time, both in Vrindavan and where Srila Prabhupada left hair vision, so to speak, and also around the world in different places. That maybe somebody could bring me volume 6 of the Srila Prabhupada Leelam Rita. I think it is on the lower shelf. Number 6 is probably the big one, probably. We were in London at that time. When the news came, it came to us, of course, early, well, during the night, but we were aware of it early in the morning because, oh, wait a minute, what time would it, maybe we were behind. It would have been in the evening. Yes, we heard about it in the evening, maybe afternoon of the 14th of November. Srila Prabhupada had departed 7:25 p.m. in Vrindavan in India, so maybe 3 or 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We heard there was no internet or WhatsApp. It was telephone call. I think from Los Angeles they were calling all the temples around the world to inform all the devotees. For approximately 6 to 7 months prior to that, all over the world, devotees were aware that Srila Prabhupada's physical health was getting, you could say, declining in external terms, and practically every devotees were praying for months and months, since just after the Mayapur festival, actually, maybe beginning of April. Srila Prabhupada's health was obviously deteriorating, and all over the world devotees were praying, my dear Lord Krishna, if you so desire, please cure or keep Srila Prabhupada with us. We really felt, as we still do, that, his absence is, we could hardly maintain without his absence. It's very hard to visualize that at that time, to have a movement without Srila Prabhupada's presence amongst us, in the physical sense. Inspiring, guiding, correcting, resolving everything that happened to come along. And practically speaking, everything. Those were being trained, no doubt, but still so much emphasis was, or necessity was there on Srila Prabhupada's personal presence. And we were also, during that 6 months period or more, practically speaking throughout the world. The world then did not include Eastern Europe. The world of ISKCON, we mean. There was nothing in Eastern Europe, on the surface at least. Under the surface, yes. But China, Eastern Europe, even India was very small in terms of ISKCON's growth. Mainly it was America, North and South, and Europe, a little bit in Africa and Australia, New Zealand, and little bits here and there, Indonesia, little bit Japan, a little bit, one or two other little, say, preaching programs going on in Hong Kong and so on, but not much outside of Americas and Europe and Australia. So we were on a constant book marathon. I think it started in May or April, and throughout the constant, intense competition was going on, a competition to try to please Prabhupada. We all knew that different reasons Srila Prabhupada would be pleased to see his books being distributed throughout the world profusely. So there was a book marathon pretty much, and every week, we tried to increase from the previous week. And between France, England, and the West Coast, particularly those three areas, we were all very evenly matched in numbers of books being distributed in general. Sometimes France would distribute more, sometimes the West Coast, sometimes the UK. It was what can we say, it was tremendous energy, tremendous potency was coming. And throughout till the end of the year, that marathon continued. We never felt like, why is this? We felt like it could continue for eternity, because it was with the intention of satisfying Krishna's dearmost representative. And even when Prabhupada came, as I mentioned this morning, to London on his last visit for Vyasa Puja and Janmashtami, and came to exchange or to reciprocate, he said, the love of his disciples for him. Because devotees from all over Europe gathered at the manor, and Prabhupada was so happy to see all the devotees, even though his body in September 77 was very, in sick condition. And Prabhupada was really not just emphasizing book distribution. One devotee said, Srila Prabhupada, maybe hearing the book scores was very tiring and exhaustive. Maybe they said we shouldn't read them to Prabhupada. So Tamal Krishna asked Prabhupada, should we read the scores to you, Srila Prabhupada? Prabhupada said, this is my very life, to hear how my books are being distributed. Please, he wanted to hear them regularly. This brought him life or enthusiasm, you could say. He also was very much concerned at that time with, in our movement, the development of the farm communities. And he very much talked about farming, Varna ashram, cow protection, particularly cow protection, very much on his mind on that last visit to London. Then he returned to India after a couple of weeks in London, and of course in Bombay for a little while. Then he went to Vrindavan and spent the last 6 weeks or so in Vrindavan before he departed the world as we know it. So we'll just read a little bit about that final section. We were, as I mentioned, we were in London, and it was a very, you can say, stunning. We also thought, we know statements that Srila Prabhupada said, I will live forever. In my books, I will never die, and so on and so forth. He lives forever in his books, and his follower lives with him. So many statements are there, but we never really thought the actual day would come to us. We were always thinking that Srila Prabhupada would, what do we call it, miraculously, maybe a mundane term, but you get the idea, would suddenly his health would come back and it'd be back to normal again. And Srila Prabhupada would be there going around parikrama, dancing, ringing the bell and giving classes. But that moment came when we were informed by our temple president, Vichittavarya Prabhu, that Srila Prabhupada had departed the world. And of course, I personally didn't know what to say. It was just, had no words. I kind of didn't know, stunned, I suppose you would say. All night long we stayed up with Kirtan that night, as many devotees did in Vrindavan. Let's see, where are we? I think this is the last section here. The final lesson. Where's the last section, I wonder? I should have found it before. I'm sorry, we didn't. And it's here somewhere. Oh, here we go. Here it is, the last few pages. Here we go. Srila Prabhupada have heard of the program. Thank you, Prabhupada. Are you okay like that? Sure. Heard of the program of his disciple, Lokanath Swami, who was taking a small group of men on a bullock cart and preaching in villages throughout India. Lokanath had told Srila Prabhupada how in the course of their travels they had recently visited tirthas such as Badrikashram and Bhim Kapoor. Srila Prabhupada was enlivened to hear this, and he then evolved a transcendental desire to go himself on a cart pulled by bullocks to circumambulate the area of Vrindavan. Tamal Krishna and Bhavananda, who were serving Prabhupada with increasing intimacy, felt themselves unable to support Srila Prabhupada in his desire, since they thought his fragile body could not survive such rough treatment on the roads. They were doing parikrama around the temple in the morning quite often. Prabhupada, really in love, loved to go on parikrama with the devotees. He would carry him on a palanquin around the temple of Krishna Balaram and Kirtan, of course, and then come in front of the deities of Krishna Balaram, Radhasham, Gaurnitai, and taking darshan like that. Prabhupada was very happy with that. But Srila Prabhupada reasons dying on parikrama is glorious, and he asked them to take him. A controversy developed among the devotees as some said Prabhupada's will to go on parikrama should be immediately honoured as an order from the spiritual master. He wanted it, and he should not be denied. The doctor, however, assured them that Srila Prabhupada's body would not survive the jostling of the cart. The many devotees who crowded around Srila Prabhupada's bed held different opinions, and Prabhupada could see this. Following his request, however, Lokanath went out and hired a cart with bullocks and prepared it for the ride. Lokanath and Hansaduta suggested that parikrama could go to the city of Vrindavan or visit the 7 main temples of the Goswamis. But then they said that since the next day was Govardhan Puja, Prabhupada could go to Govardhan Hill. Tamal Krishna, Bhavananda and Bhakti True, however, protested adamantly against the parikrama. One-day experiment, Prabhupada said. It is for one day. Rest assured I will not die in one day. He liked the idea of going to Govardhan, and we shall make our cooking there, he said. Lokanath Swami, he assured them, was experienced, make very good picnic. After discussing back and forth, the devotees finally decided that early the next morning they would take Srila Prabhupada in a bullock cart to Govardhan. The majority of the devotees then left Srila Prabhupada alone for the night. This will be about, I suppose, about the 11th of November, I suppose. 10th or 11th of November, like that. Later that night, Srila Prabhupada received a visit from Niskinchana Krishnadas Babaji, who sat with Prabhupada chanting. It's one of Prabhupada's godbrothers. He was very well known as a great pure devotee of the Lord. Mukta Purush, liberated soul. He was always chanting the holy names. So he sat with Prabhupada chanting and sometimes speaking in Bengali. Suddenly Tamal Krishna and Bhavananda came to Prabhupada's bedside. They were in tears, beside themselves with anxiety. Prabhupada understood. You request me not to go, he asked. Well, Srila Prabhupada said to Tamal, I'll tell you, I'm getting so upset sitting in the room upstairs. I was walking around. 2 of the devotees told me that this road is so bad that if you go on this road, you're going to be jolted back and forth. The road is terrible. I just can't understand, Srila Prabhu, why it has to be tomorrow that we have to go. Of anybody that wants you to travel, I do. But why do we have to go when you're in this condition? I cannot understand it. Why are we throwing everything out the window that we must go tomorrow? I cannot understand. All right, said Srila Prabhupada softly, immediately agreeing to their proposal that he not go. Jai Srila Prabhupada, said Bhakti Charu, who was also present. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, said Bhavananda with great relief. All right, you are satisfied? Now I am, Srila Prabhupada. Yes, I was in too much anxiety. Never mind, Prabhupada says, I shall not put you in anxiety. Actually, Srila Prabhupada said to Tamal Krishna, we're so much attached to you that you practically drive us to madness sometimes. Tonight we were becoming mad. No, I shall not do that, said Prabhupada. Babaji Maharaj. Prabhupada turned to Niskinchana Krishnadas Babaji and said, just see how much affection they have for me. Srila Prabhupada said to Mo, the way you deal with us simply deepens our attachment every moment. It is my duty, said Prabhupada. And the devotees laughed warmly, understanding. Yes, they could understand. That was his duty. By all his actions and dealings, Prabhupada's intention was to capture spirit souls and deliver them to Krishna. His method was loving service, but he did not do it for himself. He was delivering them to Krishna. That was his duty. On November the 14th, 1977, so there's no entry, it's funny, there's no entry in those particular days, the last few days. Srila Prabhupada was mystifying the devotees. One day, as the doctor would say, there's nothing much there, he's almost finished. The next day his pulse was normal, his heartbeat was normal, all the bodily symptoms were normal. The next day it was totally, he said he's never been involved in a patient like this before, who didn't seem to have a normal, let's say, which it wasn't of course, a normal response. On November 14th, 1977, at 7:30 p.m. in his room at the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada gave his final instruction by leaving this mortal world and going back to Godhead. His departure was exemplary because his whole life was exemplary. Basically, Srila Prabhupada was teaching us how to live in Krishna consciousness. He was also teaching us how to come to perfection, how to leave this body in Krishna consciousness, in hearing and chanting in the association of devotees. Almost up to the last few days, Srila Prabhupada was still translating and commenting on Srimad Bhagavatam, although he couldn't move his body practically. He was speaking into the microphone, his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, and giving instructions to devotees. His departure was exemplary because his whole life was exemplary. His departure marked the completion of a lifetime of pure devotional service to Krishna. A few days before the end, Srila Prabhupada had said he was instructing as far as he could, and his secretary had added, "You are the inspiration." Yes, Srila Prabhupada replied, "That I should do until the last breathing." Prabhupada's last breathing was glorious, not because of any last-minute mystical demonstration, but because Srila Prabhupada remained in perfect Krishna consciousness. Like Grandfather Bhishma Dev, he remained completely collected and noble and grave, teaching until the end. He was preaching that life comes from life, not from matter. And he was showing that one should preach with every breath he has. The many devotees who crowded the large room bore witness that up to the very end, Prabhupada remained exactly the same. There was nothing suddenly incongruous with what he had previously shown and taught them. At the time of his departure, therefore, he was teaching how to die, but always depending on Krishna. Prabhupada's passing away was peaceful. During the evening of November the 14th, the Kaviraj asked him, "Is there anything you want?" And Prabhupada replied faintly, "Kuchicha nahim," I have no desire. His passing away was in the perfect situation, in Vrindavan with devotees. A few months previously, a young girl, the daughter of one of Prabhupada's disciples, had passed away in Vrindavan. And when Srila Prabhupada had been asked if she went back to Godhead, to personally associate with Krishna, he had said, yes. Anyone who leaves his body in Vrindavan is liberated. Of course, Vrindavan also means the state of pure consciousness. As Advaitacharya had said of Lord Chaitanya, wherever you are is Vrindavan. And this was also true of Srila Prabhupada. Had Srila Prabhupada passed away in London, New York or Moscow, therefore his destination would have been the same. As Lord Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita, one who is always thinking of me surely attains to me. Because Vrindavan Dham is the quintessential realm of Krishna consciousness within the universe, the ideal place for departure from this world, so it was yet another exemplary feature of Srila Prabhupada's life, that he went back to Godhead with Vrindavan as his last junction. He described Vrindavan as his home. Mayapur is place of worship, Bombay is his office. But Vrindavan was his home. So he left this world in his home. Those Vaishnavas who had taken, I'll jump over this, Srila Prabhupada's departure was also perfect because he was chanting and hearing the holy names of God. Thus the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present at Srila Prabhupada's passing, just as he was at the celebrated passing of Bhishma Dev, who said, despite his being equally kind to everyone, so the Lord, in his incarnation of Nama Avatar, the Hare Krishna mantra was present for Srila Prabhupada's departure. I'll just summarize, I don't know if it does summarize it here or not, but if it does or doesn't, I'll just quickly summarize the events as we heard them. At least we were not there physically, but we hear as you may hear if you read them, and prepared Srila Prabhupada, of course, for the final rites, and devotees went outside and kirtan continued out there. But then they brought Srila Prabhupada out on the palanquin. They circumambulated the temple and took Srila Prabhupada into the temple in the evening for the final arti, then placed him on his Vyasasana. By this time some of the other devotees like Narayan Raj and Krishnadas Babaji and others had arrived again, and they were having kirtan led by them, basically speaking. Arti was going on, and all night long then they stayed there having kirtan. Not all of them stayed, but they had kirtan all night. Then early the next morning after Mangal Arti, many devotees, Prabhupada's sister was there, Pishima. Pishima was, although she was also a disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, she always looked at Srila Prabhupada as her Siksha Guru, as her life and soul. Even up to the last minute, so maybe on the last day when she came into Prabhupada's rooms, all she would ask, she would say, Srila Prabhupada, have you had your lunch? Have you eaten yet? And of course he wasn't eating at all, but she would always like to cook for Srila Prabhupada. She loved to feed Prabhupada, he was his elder brother. She loved to serve him. So she was there as well, many devotees were there, and then they discussed and decided. Prabhupada, as we heard earlier, was one of the considerations was to go on parikrama around Vrindavan town and visit the 7, 8 main temples of Vrindavan. So they took Srila Prabhupada on a palanquin that morning, all around Vrindavan, one temple to the next, and the whole hundreds of thousands people, whatever, so many people came out to take darshan of Srila Prabhupada for the last time over Vrindavan, were crying and offering obeisances, etc. Returning back to the temple after some time in the morning, and then preparing for Srila Prabhupada's Sanskrit editor and scholar, was working on preparations for the samadhi, where they dig a deep pit, and then different devotees, they help doing the arrangements. I think Narayan Raj did the Sanskrit mantra therein. Then the devotees were throwing salt onto Srila. They preserved the body by putting salt on. A day or two later, they went on parikrama of Govardhan with Srila Prabhupada's murti, his deity. Like that. And elsewhere around the world, we were holding kirtans and talking about Srila Prabhupada, and devotees were wondering how we can carry on. So it was decided that we would continue as we've been doing all year with the marathon till the end of the year, which we did. And that year the Prabhupada book marathon was the biggest ever. And devotees continued, many days. Sometimes you couldn't sleep at all. Hare Krishna, kirtans, even many of the kirtan groups around the world now basically owe it to Srila Prabhupada. Vegetarianism, so many people became vegetarian, so many external events took place because of Srila Prabhupada's coming to the Western shores. What to speak of ISKCON and all the various programs going on worldwide, and many of Prabhupada's godbrothers or godnephews have consequently come to the West, all because Srila Prabhupada came to the Western world to prepare the facility, the field. He was practically speaking, the only gardener, the only farmer outside of India who cultivated the soil so that others could also preach Krishna consciousness. We can hardly imagine there'll be absolutely nothing of any significance outside of it. Nobody would know anything about Krishna. He would still remain a Hindu god. Whatever struggles we may have because of our own conditioning and our own attachments, etc. Aside from that, everything the glorious opportunity to become Krishna conscious and holy and solely, because Srila Prabhupada came to these. Srila Prabhupada for the kindness and the love which he has showered on the world. Try to deliver this message and deliver everyone from their ignorance and their suffering in this world. We can see in this day that we're in how much anger, how much greed, how much selfishness and envy and so on and so forth is predominating decisions which are influencing millions and billions of people's lives in the world today. Seemingly helpless. Their karma, of course, is there. But aside from that, the devotee cannot tolerate to see the suffering of others. Paradukha dukhi. Prabhupada would cry when he would talk about the suffering of others in this world. Even physically, is unbearable for a pure devotee. So they live their life for others. And Vaishnavas, they never die. He reasons ill who tell that Vaishnavas die whilst thou art living still in sound. The Vaishnavas die to live, and living try to spread the holy life around. This was penned by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. They live forever. They try to, whilst they're here, they're always in Krishna consciousness, and when they leave, they're in Krishna consciousness. There's no real change. But the change takes place on our plane by association with such great personalities. The conditioned souls, hearts, completely most welcome now. Nitai, if you want to make a little offering to Prabhupada, please do. Or anyone else come to that. Because I don't think you were there when we were doing the offerings this morning. Anyone like to? You're no obligation. We offer our lives, that's the best offering, whatever. Okay, well, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you all very much for being here. Doing what you can to, assist Srila Prabhupada in his mission. Hare Krishna. And the book continues too. Thank you. Jai.